is the first thing that pops to you about the freelance life. It's freedom. No one bossing you around, no one tells you what to do, and you can have vacations as long and as often as you want it. And you know what? It never happens. Okay, I'm joking. It's not that bad, but there are some things that you need to know before you go into it. The first and the most important thing that you have to know and should remember that you and only you take responsibility for your actions, and you and only you are responsible for your success. And I give you 100% that you will struggle in the very beginning. But if you make everything properly, I promise you, you will get your clients soon enough. So what should we start with? Is the branding. Because branding is your social media presence, and it gives your client the ability to actually find you and see which kind of stuff you're doing on stage and how you look like, which kind of dresses or costumes you have, which kind of repertoire you have, and which kind of vibe you give to people around you. So make sure to put on some nice clothes, do your makeup, choose some nice area. It could be outside area, or for example, the place where you're already performing in, or even your house, your apartment. Put the camera, make some nice photos, make some nice video. Maybe you can record some kind of a music cover. If you're working with pop music, it should be pop cover. If you're working with house music, then you find just a nice remix of the song you like, for example, and you just play along with it with your improvisation or with some nice stuff that you can play on top of the song. After that, you take your photos and videos, you edit them a bit, for example, do some color correction, upload them in your Instagram account, put some hashtags and post it. But before you do all of that, for God's sake, remove food photos from your account. You're a professional now. We don't need that shit. The next thing is pricing. If you're new in the music market, there is a 0% chance you know proper prices in the music industry in your area. So what you have to do is to, for example, check with your friends who already doing this kind of job that you're willing to do, and ask them nicely how much they're taking for the job. Some people are okay with this kind of questions, some of them are not. So if you don't have anyone around you in your community who are willing to help you with this issue, then you can just go to internet. We can use Google for that, we can use Facebook, or we can use Instagram or any kind of social media sources to find this information. You can try and find a job for you as a musician, and of course you're gonna see the prices which the market offers you. After you know the average price, you need to understand if you're willing to work for this price or no. If it's too much for you, of course you can make it lower, but one of the important things is not to make it much lower than the average price on the market, because you will be undercutting another musicians, and let's say in the long run it can cause lots of problems for you, for the market, for other musicians, because people will start hating you, they will not share their jobs with you, and this is kind of a bad reputation which you don't want to get into. Another thing that you need to understand about pricing is there are still two types of work you can actually do as a musician, as a freelance musician. First is a residency, but it's not a full-time residency. It could be something like 1 or 2 times per week in the same venue. But there is also another thing as events. It could be weddings, it could be birthdays, it could be some business engagement, yacht parties, it could be some clubs, it could be proposals, it could be just bridal showers, any kind of stuff. Birthday parties for children is totally another story. So let's sum it up all in just one-time event. And for these two things, there are different types of pricings. For example, for residencies, you will get maybe less amount of money for one day, but in the end, when we're talking about 1 month's salary, it's gonna be your stability and it will be more money in the long run. When we're talking about the one-time events, they cost usually more money for one day, but it's not stable, and these kind of things, they only depend on how often people would like to offer you a job on their event. To make your communication for the one-time events easier between you and the client, it's really nice, as of me, I'm doing the same, this is why I'm telling this to you, is to have some kind of a list of the pricings for the amount of sets and their duration. For example, you say like 1 or 2 sets of 20 or 30 minutes cost this, then 3 or 4 sets of 20 minutes cost this amount, or if you want, you can charge per hour. Some musicians are also doing that, and you say 1 hour this amount, 2 hours this amount, 4 hours this amount. Also, if you're bringing some kind of equipment, for example, you're requested to bring speakers, or you're requested to bring some microphones or maybe some wires, you can also charge for that. Usually in normal venues, or if the event, for example, is really big, usually they provide this kind of stuff. But if you have all of it and you're willing to trade it with them, you can charge some extra amount, which is good for your pocket, and sometimes it's easier for the client. The main goal here is to have all the information in one message or in one list, so that every time people ask you about your pricings, you'll be able just copy paste it to them and save everyone's time and energy. The next thing is underpricing. Lots of musicians, especially when they're beginners, they think that they will attract more gigs when they're taking less money. And it kind of works, but there are many tricks about it. First of all, you will have to work more gigs and most probably more hours just to get a normal amount of money to just live and pay your bills. Apart from that, if you're charging less, you will automatically put the effort into kind of destroying the music market in your city, which is also equal to making enemies with other musicians. And trust me, you don't want that, because again, in the long run, other musicians can give you a job. Other musicians can give you advice. Other musicians sometimes are more experienced, and it could be a good connection for you in future. And same goes with the agents. Plus, usually clients who pay less, they give you lots of headache for a small amount of money, when normal clients who are willing to pay good amount of money, they know what they want and how they want it, and they're really organized, and you will not have that many questions and that much headache with good clients. Plus, working with bad clients, or cheap clients as we call them, you will get more cheap clients. But when you're working with rich clients, automatically you get rich clients, because it's all about the community. So when you're putting yourself in the position where you're around cheap people, you will get cheap work. If you're putting yourself in the position where you're with rich people and working for rich people and playing, performing for rich people, they will appreciate it, and they will tell another friends and another friends, and sooner or later you will get rich clients from rich people, just because you had enough balls to wait for proper event. This is why you should know your limits, your rates, and you should be patient, and it will come. Another important thing is equipment. As a freelancer, you should have your own equipment. This is red line, exclamation marks. You should have your own wireless microphone. You should have your own wires. You should have your own effect pedals. And moreover, you should know how to plug it, how to use it, how to set it up. Why? Because when you're coming on a gig, when you're coming to the venue, you never know which kind of people you're gonna have out there. Most probably, as it happens to me, I don't know why, maybe I'm lucky, maybe I'm not, but usually there are sound engineers who have no idea how to work with musicians. Or they pretend that they know to work, they're just getting their salaries, and in the end they don't know how to set you up properly. Same goes with DJs. For example, me, a person who is working a lot in restaurants, there was also one day when I just started to work in this type of way. And what I faced is usually DJs, they don't like to do this kind of things. They don't want to spend time and help you put your wires, give you effects, because they also want to use their own effects. They don't want to share, they don't want to spend time for helping you, because they're not getting paid for that. And for me, now I understand that it's normal. This is why you should always come prepared. This is why you need to know your equipment. You should learn. You should know how much you should roll these things to give it the proper sound that you need in the venue. I realized that usually musicians don't have this amount of money to buy everything at once. This is why as soon as you have your first money, collect it and get this equipment one by one. And trust me, it will give you more opportunities, and you will feel more stable when you're coming to the gig, and you know that no matter what, you'll be able to have everything and do everything by yourself, and your gig will not be cancelled just because of some stupid misunderstanding. Plus, it's really fun to play with your equipment and search for your own unique sound. The next thing is your contract. It's not just one of the important things, it is the most important thing you should take care of no matter what. Because this makes the deal official and keeps both you and your client on the safe side. Without a contract, for example, you risk late payments or cancellations without a compensation. This is why a simple contract outlining all the terms will be very, very useful for you and will protect you. There is a lot of things, so I will just read it because I have it all listed here. So, for example, if you're working for a one-time event, you should have event date, event location, performance timings, amount of sets, their duration, equipment that you provide, equipment that you require, type of music or list of songs if the client requires specific ones, outfit, payment terms, payment details, cancellation policy, full name of the client, their mobile number and email, and all of that should be signed by you and the client. Please also keep in mind that it's always good to have some kind of prepayment. Usually it's 30% or 50% because it will keep you safe. And the reason why it should keep you safe, because sometimes it happens that the events get cancelled due to different reasons. So in case you have your prepayment, it means you will not lose the day. Because let's imagine the situation, you book the date, for example, 20th of November, and you had also another offers for this exact date, but you told, no, I'm sorry, I'm booked. But then in the end, on the 19th of November, you get this event cancelled, so you end up without the gigs and without the money. And the day is wasted. And you're sad and angry, and there is nothing you can do. So, to avoid this kind of situations, take the prepayment. And then, in the worst case scenario, the event will just get cancelled, and you will have your money, and you will not be as sad as if you could be. The situation could also be opposite. Sometimes it could happen that you will be the one who's gonna have to cancel the gig, which is, exclamation, very bad for your reputation, but still could happen. We're all people, you never know. You can get sick, there could be something with the family. In this case, if you're canceling the gig, first of all, make sure to return the prepayment, because this is not right. Let's talk honestly, this is not right, because this is your responsibility and you're kind of making to your client who trusted you. And also try and find another musician as a replacement for your client, so that even if the situation is bad, you still can sweeten it for them and they will know that you did your effort to make everything as good as possible in the bad situation that happened to you. Last but not the least, reputation. Reputation is the only thing that matters after your musical skills. This is why you should never, ever neglect it. Your reputation is everything. This is how people interact with you, how they see you, and how they deal with you personally and professionally. A poor reputation, it limits your opportunities, when the good reputation opens all the doors and gives you straight way to a success. So the first thing is to avoid lowering the prices for your gigs. As we told before, I will say it again. This will hurt everyone, so just don't do it. Second thing you should remember is that stealing other people's music or gigs is unethical. For example, if you're trying to copycat someone's arrangement on the song, it is not ethical. Yes, you can find inspiration in something, but don't copycat it. Don't make it exactly same. This is wrong. Plus, sometimes it happens on the market that people try to steal your appearance and pretend that they are you. This is also a wrong thing to do. Also wrong to try and copycat other people's playlists one by one. We already are in the situation when mostly musicians in one area, they kind of play same music, and usually they don't change it for years and months, and this means you're not updating your playlist. This means you're not checking what's popular now, what's new in the market, how to make your performance more interesting. You should do that as a musician. If you want to succeed in freelancing, if you want to succeed in music, you should always keep following the trends. Even if you don't like pop music, for sure there is music which you like playing. It could be rock music, it could be hip hop, it could be R&B. In every single area, in every single style of music, there are things that could be interesting and that pop up every month. We have lots of new music which you can play. So don't try to steal someone's work. Create your own thing and let another people try and steal it. Also, avoid playing or pretending to play on other musicians' recordings. This is wrong. Sometimes, yes, you maybe can use some kind of stuff from Lindsey Stirling or David Garrett, for example, for your Instagram posts. If it's just a photo and you put someone else's arrangement, it's okay. But never try and pretend to play it on videos or on the events and pretend that it's your playing when the violin is just off. This is wrong. This is the style of some European street musicians who just learned how to hold the violin and they just pretended it's them. And then we have all these videos around the internet trying to understand, oh, is this real or not? You don't want to be in this kind of situation. Third thing is about staying ethical. You should never accept the job trying to kick someone out or undercutting them. Let's imagine the situation where you're working in a restaurant or a venue or a club, and then another musician pops in. He's coming to one of your managers or supervisors and asking like, hey, how much this lady is taking for the performance? Don't pay her that much, you can pay me less and I will take the job. And they will have a choice if to take her or not. This is not a good thing to do to a person. You don't want it to happen to yourself, so don't do it to other people. It will save your reputation, it will give you more friends, better community, you will be able to help each other, share the gigs. But if you do this kind of thing once, people will talk. Music community is like this, and people gonna know. They gotta know. So don't play with it. Next thing is deadlines. It doesn't matter which kind of thing you're doing, if you're recording, if you're talking to people, if you're discussing the event timings or just replying to a message, respect the deadlines. Try to answer as quick as possible. Or if you promise something, do it in time. Or if you're not able to do it in time, just text the person like, hey, sorry, I have this kind of situation. I will make it later. Okay. Don't ignore people, especially don't ignore your clients. It's also your reputation. You should take care of that. The next thing is to be easy to work with. This is more about communicating with people and how you treat them and how you act while you're at work. It could be many different small moments on how you enter the place, how you say hi to people, how you react on different kind of bad situations or problem solving. So to make it more easy for you, you should be approachable, flexible, and easygoing and friendly, even if you don't feel like it, but you should keep it diplomatic and professional. Another thing is criticism. You should handle it gracefully. Sometimes there are things that people are not gonna like. Sometimes the clients will not be happy. Sometimes the guests will come to you and say, oh, this is a fake violin playing, and you should be able to not react to that, or if you react to it, react in a good way, in a polite way. Plus, if you receive some constructive feedback, don't try to argue back. Most probably this is the information that you can work with and maybe improve yourself to make the experience that you're giving to people better and more interesting and more quality. And the last thing is respecting the agents. Agents are the people who most probably are giving you the biggest amount of work. Usually it works like that. Sometimes, yes, musicians work straight with the venues and straight with just the guests or someone who is organizing the events, but you will also need to deal with the agents. And it goes the same like dealing with the musicians. Don't try to undercut the agents. Don't try to make a straight deal with the venue if you already have an agent who actually brought you there and made you guys get to know each other. Agent can also fix lots of problems for you. Agent can make a good deal. Agent most probably has more connections than you have, especially if you're a beginner in the freelance industry. Respect them. I don't say that all of the agents are good, but if you find someone who is good enough in treating you well, don't waste it just for quick money and for just a small amount that's gonna be bigger if you're working straight with the venue. It's not worth it. You will lose lots of opportunities that this agent can give to you. So don't mess it up. And that's it. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to comment if you have any further questions. You can ask them and I will be more than happy to reply. And if you agree or disagree with some things, also put it in the comments under this video. Don't forget to like and follow, and see you next video. Bye!